Okay, Antumbra display. We're going to look at modes today in the Antumbra display. And put this down. It does have some Dynet strings in it, but I've put it as a graduate subject because I believe that anybody who's done the system builder course should not have a problem with this feature. Modes are different states that you can put the panel into. You can also drive it to different pages, and we'll look at that. But a mode has a home page, it has a standby page, and then it has standard pages. See in this example here that I'm showing you, I've got two modes, one's English and one's Italian. I created the English mode, I then translated it, created a new mode, translated the pages, and now I've got two modes. So if I had a guest coming in who was an English speaker, I can send it to English mode, and if I had Italian guests, then I could send it to Italian mode. You might want to do that if you're in a conference center, especially in Europe or somewhere where you've got lots of different nationalities coming in. Remember, you can up to 16 pages, so theoretically you could run 16 modes and have 16 languages. You just got to work with the capacity of the Antumbra. Another option here is to have a mode for disabled. So the panel works, but when the panel is or the panel's disabled, so let's say you've got a ballroom or a large function area and you put it into a defined state, you don't want people playing with the lighting, you can then toggle it so that you just put a text message on there telling the person pressing the buttons that they need to contact staff if they need to adjust the lighting. So as I said, the process that I created for the different languages, and this is if you want to create any modes, get a primary mode. There's always a primary mode. Then you add new modes. If you want to duplicate, you copy the pages, you edit the new modes, you save all that obviously to the Antumbra, and then you send the messages, which are logical messages, and they change the mode of the panels, all the panels in the area, obviously if they can configure the same way. So here's the Antumbra display. I've created an English control page, so it's got 4 presets and temperature control. If I click New up in the top left on the page there and select Mode, I get new modes. So here in this example, I've created 3 modes. I've got my English, my Italian, and I've created a disabled mode, which we'll look at in a minute. So what I can do next is, if I right click on the home page of the English mode and select Copy, I can then paste the configuration onto the Italian mode. That will obviously paste it with English, but it'll set all the functionality the same, which is what we want. And then all I do is I change the text for each of the buttons to Italian, and then I can toggle between those 2 modes remotely obviously from a system manager head end or a touchscreen or however I want to send those messages. What I did for the disabled mode is I've got a disabled page. I've made it the home page. Just the way it works with timeouts is easier if I make it the home page. So in the home page, I created a backdrop. So it's a bitmap, 240 by 368 pixels. I just simply created it in Paint, added some text, and then I can write whatever I want onto that backdrop. I don't place anything in the foreground. So these buttons here are all clear, and then it will just display that background when it's on the home page. So in operation, and when it times out, it goes to the standby page. All the buttons on the standby page send it to the home page. So the customer presses a button and then it will go to the home page and it'll say this panel is disabled. So to control that, this is the command. Okay, it's a user preference message, which is opcode 48, and it uses sub opcode 16. So I'm going to swap modes with this message. The mode itself is the mode ID. They are sequential. So as you can see here where I've selected English, the mode ID is number 1. And these are absolute. They're not zero origin, these are absolute numbers. So mode 1 here is mode 1 in the string, or the number 1 in the string. There's 2 types of pages I can jump to. So I can send it to go to the home page or get it to go to the standby page. And if I put in the page type byte, the last data byte before join, if I put a 1, it will go to the home page for that mode, and if I put a 2, it will go to the standby page for that mode. So as you can see, if I wanted to jump between modes 1, 2, and 3 and go to the home page, I would use a 1 or 2 or a 3 in that data byte. And in the last data byte, I use a 1 because it's the home page. And simply, if I wanted to go to the standby page, I'd just change that data byte to a 2. If I wanted to go to a page other than the standby page or the home page, if I wanted to go to a standard page, then I can use this message. It's still the opcode 48, but it's using sub-opcode 15, and this is a page flip. What this will do is I can choose any page in the Antumbra. Remember, you've got 16 pages. I can jump to any one of those, and then depending on what mode it's in, it will then jump into that mode. So it will revert back to its standby page if you've got it configured that way. But it will, so it's a mode swap, but it's also being able to go to a standard page rather than the default home page or standby page. Very simple. This does use zero origin. So here in the example on the right, you can see I've selected a page, a standard page. It's giving me a number. So these are all sequential. So this will jump to page 3. And simply page and zero origin. So here we go, page 1, page 2, and page 3. There is no mode in this. So I'm not specifying the mode and then the page number. The page numbers are all sequential for the Antumbra. They don't repeat once you go into different modes. So you've got 16 pages you can jump between. And remember, if you jump into a different mode, then it's going to go back to the standby page of that mode. And that's it.